So hello everyone, myself Pirevrat and welcome to our YouTube channel Helpful Techniques again. So guys, in this video we'll be discussing about the SQL statements or the few important statements that we can use in the SQL. So if you have missed our previous videos related to the SQL concepts, then the link is there in the description of this video. You can watch the previous videos, and also the link to the complete SQL tutorial playlist is also there. You can go and check out the missing videos, and you can learn various SQL concepts that we have already discussed in our previous videos. So now let's discuss about a few SQL statements we have. So in SQL there are 5 types of SQL statements we have. For example, DDL and just a second, DDL and DCL. DDL stands for data definition language, and DCL stands for data control language, and DML stands for data manipulation language, and TCL stands for data transaction control language, and DQL stands for data query language. So these are 5 various languages or the statements we have in SQL. So later we'll be discussing about each of these statements in detail, but in this video will be giving you an overview of various statements we have and what are the various sub statements we have, or the sub categories of statements are available for various categories. So the first one is the DDL, but actually most of the people always forget whether this thing or this statement belongs to this category or that category. So today, after watching this video, you'll be able to understand how exactly to remember, so that later you'll never forget all these things. I'll be sharing few tricks on how to remember all these things. And because in the interview most of the time they will be asking you whether create or grant relates to belongs to this specific category of statement or SQL statement or not, right? So today, after watching this video, it will be clear to you how exactly you will be able to remember all these things. So the first one is the DDL, data definition language. So later we'll be discussing what do you mean by it, but let me give you an example here. So the definition means the table structure we can change by using these statements, like create. So whenever we are using create, we'll be able to create the table or the new table, and drop. So whenever we are using drop, we'll be able to drop the table. So later the syntax and all will be discussing, but this is just an overview. And alter, so by using alter you'll be able to do some the changes to the existing table and all. And truncate generally deletes the whole or entire data present inside this table, but the structure will remain same, or it will remain intact. And DCL, data control language. So by the help of the DCL, we can control the access to the data we have inside the database. That means, suppose I have 2 users, one is A and one is B. Suppose I want some access to this A and few other access to B, or suppose the person A needs to have full access to the database or that specific table, but the person B only needs to have some view only or read only access to that specific table. But A is the admin, so he need to have the whole access to the entire database I have, or the entire table or the schema I have. That means he can read, write, and also do some changes, right, to the table or the schema I have. But B, he has only read only access or the view only access. So by the help of this DCL or data control language, I'll be able to give the access or the control, and I'll have the control to the data, who will be able to do what are the which task. So grant, by the help of grant, I can give some access to or the permission to the specific person to various data table or something I have. And revoke, by the help of revoke, I can revoke the access. And DML stands for data manipulation language, as I told you earlier, and that means we are trying to manipulate the data. That means the data is already present in the the database, or I have some table and something, and I just want to do some operations, or I want to just do some the perform or do some transactions or do some what you can say, like insert something, or I want to delete something, or I want to like update something. So by the help of insert I can insert data, and by the help of update I can update some data, and delete, by the help of delete I can delete some data. But the main difference between drop and delete, truncate and delete is totally different. As you can see, the truncate is for is a DDL statement, and delete is the DML statement. But later we'll be discussing more about these two difference, like what are the various difference between these two things, because in the interview most of the time they will ask, like not exactly most of the time, like every time you will face this question in SQL interview. And at the fourth, this is the TCL, that means transaction control. So in TCL, what do you mean by transaction? So in database, whenever we are performing some operations, it is nothing but, it is called as the nothing but the transaction. So whenever we are performing some operation, technically in SQL term or in the database terminology, we'll call it as transaction. So commit, so whenever we are performing some like operations or the task, at the end we need to commit. That means saving it. Or like for example, I am using some Word document or something like file, and after doing some changes I need to save the Word document or PPT or like PDF file, right? So commit is nothing but saving or like committing the changes. And rollback is nothing but the undoing the things, like in PowerPoint or the Word or the Microsoft Word, we have something called as undo. Like by the help of the undo option, we can like roll back, or like we can undo some operations. So same here also, like the same thing we can do by the help of rollback. And save point is something like we are just putting some reminder or something, like whenever I am trying to roll back, we can to a specific point I can go there, like roll back to this point. So just this is a kind of bookmark kind of thing, right? So later we will see how exactly it works. And now DQL, that means data query language. So data query is that means we are just querying something, like we have the table and just we are trying to like extract some data. So select star from this, or select so and so from this table where condition is this. So later we'll see how it works. But for now, just remember select belongs to this statement or this category, and by the help of select statement we'll only be able to fetch the data from the table. That means based on some conditions on the constraints, I'll be able to fetch the data from the table. Will not be able to perform some operations. It is kind of read-only access or the operation we are doing, just reading the data, nothing else. So these are the 5 different types of statements we have in SQL. So in next video, one by one we'll be discussing about all these things.